So, we're about to pull back the curtain on one of the biggest mysteries in your life right now. Why everything, from your groceries to your gadgets, has become so unbelievably expensive. And well, the answer is a lot darker than you might think.
I mean, you've definitely felt it, right? That moment at the checkout line when the total just doesn't make any sense. You feel like you're paying nearly double for things that used to be, affordable. So what is really going on here?
For the last couple of years, we've all been told the same story. Oh, it's just temporary inflation. A little hiccup from the pandemic, a supply chain issue that'll sort itself out. But what if that wasn't the whole truth? What if it wasn't even close?
Because the real story is that our modern world has been shaped by a kind of real-life mafia. No, not the kind from the movies, but a shipping industry monopoly that has controlled the flow of almost everything you buy for 150 years.
To really see how this works, we only need to look back a couple of years. Because when the rest of the world was in lockdown, this invisible empire was making an absolute fortune. Okay, just look at the sheer scale of this. In 2021 alone, they raked in nearly $190 billion. Now, to put that in perspective, that's more than 5 times the profit of the entire previous decade combined. Their profit margins didn't just rise, they literally exploded.
And here's exactly how they did it. Before 2020, shipping a container from Asia to the US cost maybe $2,000. During the pandemic, that price skyrocketed to $15,000, even $20,000. That's 10 times the price for the exact same service, with zero improvements. They blamed pandemic backlogs, but let's be honest, they were exploiting a crisis.
And oh, it got worse. American importers started calling it straight-up bullying. Imagine this. You're being charged millions in late fees for not picking up your cargo when the port itself is so overloaded you physically can't even get to it. These fees got so bad that President Biden had to order an investigation, and Congress actually passed a whole new Reform Act just to try and rein them in.
But here's the really crazy part. This system isn't new. For over a century, governments didn't just tolerate this monopoly, they actively legalized it. And to understand why, well, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. Picture this. It's the late 1800s. 2 huge things happen at once. The steamship is invented, and the Suez Canal opens. All of a sudden, the seas are flooded with ships, and it leads to absolute chaos. A brutal price war, where companies were shipping goods at a loss just to bankrupt their rivals. But out of that chaos, in a dusty room in Calcutta, India, a new idea was born.
They called it a shipping conference, which, let's be real, is just a polite name for a cartel. Competitors simply agreed to stop competing. They got together, they set unified prices, they divided up all the shipping routes, and just like that, the price war was over.
And they enforced their power with some ruthless tactics. They used fighting ships to sail alongside any new competitor and slash prices until they went out of business. They trapped merchants in what they called loyalty contracts. But their real masterstroke was the pooling system. All the revenue went into one giant pot and was then split up, killing any reason to ever compete on price.
Now, you might be thinking this is all just some ancient history. But the very same system that was born in the 1800s is still running the show today, just under a different name.
Fast forward to today, and you can see the result. Just 3 major shipping alliances now control 80% of global trade. Let that sink in for a second. 80% of everything you buy from Walmart to Amazon is controlled by this tiny group. That is an incredible concentration of power.
See, they simply swapped out that old-fashioned scary word cartel for the much friendlier vessel-sharing alliance. It's a clever legal loophole that lets them coordinate routes and prices without triggering antitrust laws. It's the same system, just with new branding.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty evil, right? I mean, it's a cartel. But here's where the story takes a very, very strange turn. What if this monopoly is actually necessary?
Economists explain this using a game theory concept called the empty core. Basically, it says that in some markets, free and open competition is so chaotic and self-destructive that the only way to create any kind of stability is for a powerful coalition to take control and set the rules. Think of it like this simple taxi analogy. You've got 3 people who need to get to the airport, but the taxi only fits 2. If they all start fighting and undercutting each other to get a seat, they'll just make side deals, break promises, and in the end, nobody gets a stable agreement. A coalition, a cartel, is needed just to get the taxi moving. Now just scale that up to global shipping. The theory is, without the guaranteed stable profits that a cartel provides, no one would invest the billions needed to build new container ships. The global fleet would shrink, supply would plummet, and prices would surge right back up anyway. It's a paradox.
Which leaves us with this one massive question. Is this industry just a greedy monopoly that's bleeding us dry, or is it a flawed but necessary monster that's saving the global economy from total chaos? The answer seems to be, well, a little bit of both.
So the next time you're wondering why everything is so expensive, remember this. It's not just inflation. It's the invisible tax you pay to a highly organized global cartel, a fee for the stability that keeps the modern world from falling apart.
It's a system that perfectly captures this strange duality. One day, it's the bedrock that keeps our entire economy from collapsing, and the next, it's the reason your wallet is empty. A necessary monster hiding in plain sight.